Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Fatherless Sons. My name is LaShawn Wiley, and I'm your host. And this is episode 113. On today's episode, we will be covering under the Building Your Empire segment, we'll be covering widgets versus services. Under Couch Time, we'll be talking a little bit about procrastination. And stick around towards the end so that you can see whose today's episode, Fatherless and Famous, is. So stick around towards the end for that. You'll enjoy this one. All right, so let's jump right into building your empire. Today, like I said, we're going to talk about widgets versus a service. And basically, you can build. This is two ways to really focus on building your wealth and your financial independence. You can either sell a widget or sell a product, an item, or you can produce or deliver a service as a way of going into business for yourself. So as a personal banking advisor, this is what I do, during my day job. And some consider it to be like a personal advisor or a private banker for the affluent market. That's one way to look at it. I've learned just by working with my clients and working with very successful people that I was able to kind of like divide it into two different ways that they were able to build their wealth. And this is excluding people that inherited wealth. People who just basically built it from their own business, using their own brain, their own hard work, their own sweat equity. So I was able to divide most of what they did into two categories. And one was selling a widget and the other was delivering a service. So some of my clients, I have a client that actually made it big by selling vitamins. He came up with a vitamin that he promoted and sold, and it made him a multimillionaire. Another client that I know is in the food industry, but they produce a vegan muffin, and the muffin itself is a product. It's a widget where you produce it, you make a lot of them, and you sell them for profit. So I still consider that to be a widget. Another example of a widget would be like a book that you would sell, or a training course, or like a real estate training course that you would sell. Those are all widgets because you can sell a lot of them after you just reproduce them and make a profit from every unit that you sell. So that's an example of a widget. Now, some of my other clients actually sold a service, and examples of a service could be landscaping or cutting down trees or being a life coach. I was a life coach, as most of you already know. And that is a service that I was able to deliver to my clients. I was also a photographer at one point, which is also a service. Now, the funny thing about photography is not only is it a service that you can provide during those couple of hours or few hours that you're taking those pictures for your client, but you can also upload those pictures for your clients to go back later on in a future date to purchase copies of their picture. So now you're selling a widget. So it's a combination of both. And a lot of these can be a combination of both. Another combination of both would be someone who opens up a cafe or a coffee shop, because you're providing service when you bring that coffee out, but you may have a unique twist on how you brew your coffee. And you can sell that coffee even as a standalone item, where you can put it in grocery stores or you can ship it out to people's homes and deliver it that way. So it's a service that you can also make money as a widget. Now, through my experience of just comparing the two, I have found that widgets are way more profitable than service. And the reason for that is because a widget can be reproduced so many times and sold for a profit that the profit margin is just so much higher, and the scalability of it is so much larger because you can just manufacture whatever that widget is. Now, here's a great example of not just me understanding this, but even big businesses understands that widgets make you a whole lot more money than service because of the scalability of it. For example, Red Lobster, they obviously provide a great service. And their whole thing is you walking into the restaurant, picking out the lobster in the tank that you want, and they'll grab that puppy out and cook it up for you and bring it to your table. So that's a service. And obviously when they're waiting on you at the table and providing that great care and service in the ambience of the restaurant, all of that is service. Okay. But this is what they did to develop a widget from their business model. The biscuits that everyone loved to eat, those cheese biscuits at the beginning of your meal that you can't have enough of because they're made so tiny and small, those biscuits are sold in a box at the supermarket. So they turned that desirable biscuit that everyone loved into a widget that they can ship at grocery stores and produce in mass quantities of boxes so that they can sell the raw material for a profit. So you walk into a grocery store, you'll see Red Lobster in big letters, biscuits, and you can buy them. And Red Lobster is not the only one who has done this. A lot of different restaurants have done the exact same thing because they understand that selling a widget will make you so much more money. You'll also see this on the internet where you see these training courses or videos or things like that, where someone's training you how to do something and how to learn a skill, whether it's trading in the stock market or whether it's buying and selling real estate. They'll put these training materials together and then they'll just sell that kit. So that's a widget that they created, and you can just mass produce those kits and promote those kits and sell as many as you can based on whatever price you set. So it's going to, to produce that product is going to be a fraction of what you're going to sell it for. This is what makes it so scalable and so profitable. So selling a widget is always going to make you way more money than delivering a service. So if you're beginning your journey right now and you're deciding, do you want to sell a widget or provide a service? Then if you have a choice to lean towards a widget, that's where you should really put your attention to, because that's where you can really maximize profit and scalability. All right. Just think about it. If you have a widget that you can produce at your home with, let's say, a 3D printer, and you can promote this widget that everyone likes it and everyone wants it, and it costs you pennies to produce it, you can promote this online, and you can sell it online and distribute this widget by shipping it across the country. That may probably cost you $1 to make it, but you can sell it for $5, minus the shipping and minus promotion and advertising. You're going to make yourself a nice profit. And then it's just all about how many of these you can make and how many of them you can ship and send out and sell. So a widget will always make you more money. Another reason, and I'll leave it at this, that a widget is more profitable and scalable is service is based on human time, how much time you have to be there to deliver the service. So for example, when I was a photographer, I can only take so many pictures myself before I have to get another photographer to help me out. And I can only be at one wedding at a time. I can't be at 2 weddings at one time unless I have someone working for me. But they want my skills. They want my eye for detail. They want my ability to take the perfect shot. So they're not going to pay the same money for my assistant. They want my skill. So I can only be in so many places. So that's what I mean by it's not as scalable as a widget that you can sell. Hopefully all of that lands with you and you're able to understand that and make your decision on which way you want to pursue if you're at that point of trying to figure out how you want to move forward. Okay, so let's go to couch time. In today's episode and under couch time, we are going to talk about procrastination. And procrastination is something that I need to go over, and I need to talk to all of my listeners and viewers about this one, because you might find yourself as being one of those famous procrastinators. When I was younger, I was kind of a procrastinator, and I was able to change this by either eliminating some things or understanding why I was procrastinating in the first place. So that's what I want to do for you all today. I want to give you 3 main reasons why people procrastinate, why you might be procrastinating. And one of these reasons is going to help you understand if you should even be focusing on whatever it is that you're avoiding in the first place. So the 3 main reasons why people procrastinate in the first place. And this is something that I also used to coach my clients when I was a life coach as well, to help people get out of the rut of procrastination. So the first one is lack of knowledge to complete the task. If you don't fully have the information to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, that that lack of knowledge is going to make you move a little bit slower. It's going to make you shy away because we are uncomfortable doing things that we don't know how to do. So we'll avoid that discomfort by not doing it at all. So this might be one of the reasons why you might be procrastinating in an area. Number two would be lack of desire to do the task. Now, if you, this one is kind of obvious. If you don't want to do it, if you don't feel like doing it, you're lazy, you're like, oh my God, I don't feel like doing this. That's going to make you not even look towards doing it. So what I would do in this situation, if you're just lacking the desire, and this is something that you have to do. All right, let's just say it needs to be, this is a box that needs to be checked off in order for you to achieve one of your goals, but you just don't have the energy to do it. What you can do is tie it to a reward, something that you would enjoy. Like, for example, working out. Oh my God, I don't feel like working out. It's just unenthusiastic about, walking on my treadmill or riding my exercise bike. So I give myself, I tie it to a reward. Okay. So one of my rewards is watching a podcast that I really enjoy, or maybe even watching a sitcom that is 45 minutes long. And since I have to work out 45 minutes, then it's perfect timing. So I'll watch one episode while I'm on the treadmill or the exercise bike. And I can't watch that episode that I really want to enjoy unless I'm on the treadmill or unless I've at least completed my 45-minute workout for the day. So I tied it to a reward. Now, the other side of that lack of desire coin is you have to ask yourself in the first place, why are you even doing it if you don't have the desire? I mean, if this is not one of those boxes that needs to be checked off for you to complete a goal, and you just don't feel like doing it, but everyone said you should do it, or maybe your loved one, your family, your spouse is saying that they want you to do it, well, you have to ask yourself, if you lack the desire to do it and it's not really helping you achieve a goal, and it's because someone else just wants you to do it, then why are you doing it in the first place? It's okay to say no to people, and it's okay to not do something that you're just not motivated to do or that you don't really enjoy doing. Don't do it. Just say no. Have the person do it themselves, or just, spend your time on something a little more worthwhile. But don't waste your time on things that you really don't want to do. Life is too short to trap yourself into that mix of doing things you don't want to do. All right. So the last one is fear of failing the task. And this one is just lack of confidence, and people just, they're afraid. Fear will just scare them out of even doing the task or slow them down so that they're walking or dragging their feet towards this task because, oh my God, what if I fail? What if things don't go my way? And now, you know what? I'll just get to it tomorrow. I'll worry about it, next week. And before you know, you just put it off and put it off, all because of fear. Fear is a powerful emotion, and you need to recognize if fear is what's stopping you from doing something, you need to, step up, pound your chest, get the courage that you need, and just have confidence. Believe that you can do it and that you will succeed instead of thinking more on a pessimistic side, saying that, well, what if I don't do it? You got to have positive thoughts. Be positive and think that you can. Be a winner, as I've said in one of my episodes. Be a winner and have a winner's mentality, and believe that you can achieve what it is that you're trying to do. So don't quit before you even start. That's what that looks like if you let fear talk you out of doing something. A lot of times I've seen people let fear talk them out and say, nope, you're not going to be good at this. You should try something else. And they won't even try because they're afraid of failing. Or even worse, a loved one, a friend or someone says, you're not going to be good at that. And because that loved one is telling you, you're not going to be good at that, it's not going to work. You want to do it, but you won't do it because they're telling you you're going to fail. And what if you fail and then they're right? And before you know, you're dragging your feet once again. Be positive yourself and be around people who are also supportive and positive. That's what you need around you. So don't let fear stop you from even trying. So to recap, the three things that are really stopping people from moving forward and make them procrastinate the most. The first one is lack of knowledge to complete the task. The second one is lack of desire to complete the task. And the third one is fear of failing at the task. Okay. So figure out which one of those three is stopping you from moving forward and getting things done. Overcome whatever it is so that you can get it done and make forward progress. That's what we do on this channel is we move forward. Okay. We move towards our goal. We don't stand still. Okay, so let's close our episode today with Fatherless and Famous. Fatherless and Famous is one of my favorite portions of the show. And I like to feature someone who is fatherless, who grew up in a fatherless household or, who was missing their father figure when they were growing up, but still found success and still made it to be a famous person. And like I have said before, you don't have to be a famous person for me to feature you on this show, but I do like to highlight the famous who grew up without a father figure. In today's episode, I want to recognize Alexander Hamilton. Now, he is obviously one of our founding fathers of our country who helped put our financial system in place that we use today. I think he was a genius for doing so. And I love our government. And even though our government is not always as productive as it needs to be and as it should be, I like the structure that we have in the U.S. versus other countries. And mainly because here you can become something even if you start with nothing. And this is a great example here of someone who started with absolutely nothing and made something of himself. So Hamilton was born in the Caribbean in 1755 or 1757, depending on who you ask. The records were a little sketchy back then, but one of those years is a 2-year variance. And his dad, James Hamilton, left his mother, Rachel Fawcett, when Hamilton was just a toddler, or right before he was a toddler. James left the family high and dry with Hamilton and his brother at the time, his older brother. And his mother ended up dying when Hamilton was very young. So Hamilton, at the age of 13, became an orphan. So this was really tough, obviously, on Hamilton. And his dad, even though he was alive, he just didn't want anything to do with his son. At the age of 14, Hamilton did write and reach out to his dad, trying to ask for some support, some financial support, because he needed some money. And his father never got back with him, never wrote back, just kind of ghosted him. His father, James, did reach out after Hamilton reached the age of 30. So by now, Hamilton is famous. Hamilton has kids and a wife of his own, married to Eliza. And his father reaches out to him because now dad needs some money. And Hamilton still didn't want anything to do with his dad, but still, just because he felt a sense of charity towards his father, he decided to give him between $30 and $60, which was, I guess, a lot of money back then. But he gave him that money and just, he saw it as charity, not out of love. He just gave it to him saying, okay, you need some money here, take this money, but don't reach out to me anymore. I don't want anything to do with you. So he's still kind of, even though he gave him some money, he still kind of shut it down, was just like, I don't want anything to do with you. And after that, Pops never came back around. We like to talk about net worth. And even though this is a historic figure, I still did some research on the net worth because I wanted to know what was going on with Hamilton. Hamilton did not die a very wealthy person, not like the Rockefellers. And he didn't grab land. He didn't invent anything, a widget. He didn't do anything like that. But what he did was still historic and very important for our country as far as the financial system is concerned. He died with an estate of around $2,000. That's it. And if you were to convert that $2,000 to today's figure, it would come out to be around $55,000, just a little bit under $55,000. So he did not die a wealthy person at all. This is a great example of how someone could be very famous because they're a hard worker, they apply themselves, but maybe didn't make the right moves financially, didn't make the right investments financially. And we see those kind of people today where they might be hard workers. You might be one of those persons that are a hard worker that works 50, 60 hours a week, maybe even work two jobs, but can never see yourself getting ahead. And if this is you, always stay tuned into this channel because on this channel, we talk about how to change that trajectory so that you're not working 50, 60 hours and seeing very little in return. Stay tuned and always stay tuned, especially during the building your empire segment, because if you can take the lessons from the building your empire segment and put it all together, then you'll find yourself with the tools and the knowledge to move forward and get out of the situation you're in today. All right, so that does it for our episode today. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe and like if you haven't already. Leave comments. And if you have a fatherless story that you would like to share, leave those in the comment. I'll do my best to read every single comment that is left. Until then, I will see you all next time.